Hello everybody! Today I would like to talk about the right to be forgotten. What does this right mean? To be forgotten by whom and what for? The right to be forgotten relates to internet and to the content we publish there on a daily basis. First, I will briefly examine the general and legal context of this right. Second, we'll see the ruling of the European Court of Justice introducing this right to be forgotten, and the discussions arised out of this judgment on whether this right exists. Finally, I will talk about concerns related with the implementation of this right. What are all debates about? Basically, in every country there is a law which governs the way the personal information is processed by any entity. It doesn't apply, though, to natural persons who are processing information in purely personal and household activity. This law does not relate solely to internet, but generally to every operation, to every manipulation with the personal information. For example, if you're going to register in the library and so there's a folder with your name, your age, your address, then the treatment of your personal information by the library falls under the scope of the data protection law, and the library has to respect this law. What is interesting is that most of the laws on data protection were adopted before the internet ever exists. In France, the law on personal data dates back to 1978. The European Directive on the protection of personal data, which was the basis for the ruling of the ECJ, is from 1995 and originally was not designed to be used in the matters concerning the internet. But since there is no new law taking into account the internet and the directive more or less covers the same matters, it was used by the court as a legal basis in the famous ruling Mario Costeja versus Google Spain. Why is it famous, this ruling? Because since then, any individual in the European Union can ask Google to take down any link about them. Whether this information will be actually removed, that is another question. But for the first time, the search engine is responsible for the links it provides. And that's a big problem. We all have the right to the privacy, but also we all have the right to the freedom of expression. We have a right to know and to remember, which is in this case impossible to conciliate with the right to the privacy. There are many questions about the implementation of this right and its effectiveness. So the first question is, does this ruling amount to censorship on internet? Doesn't this right undermine the whole idea of internet? If I'm searching for a good doctor or just a nice restaurant, what am I doing first? Reading reviews on the internet. Is this restaurant really worthy? Does this doctor treats people well? I think that's partly the idea of internet, that you can come and get information that you will not find in other place. And so, if every doctor or if every restaurant would ask Google to remove links with bad reviews, so what's the point of the reviews? The second problem is about the implementation. The ruling of the ECJ applies to the European citizens and to the Google in Europe. If the link was removed upon request in google.es or google.de or .nl, it will stay intact in google.com. So that does not really seem to be like the right to be forgotten, because you're not. And moreover, what Google does is that it unindexes the result from the search, but the link and content are still there. Does this really mean to be forgotten? The third issue of this right is that, is it fair to put a burden of the content of internet on a search engine who automatically indexes any information without properly analyzing it? Well, that's a discussable matter. It is undisputable that Google helps to massively spread the information around the internet. But I'm not totally convinced that the indexation of information by Google falls under the scope of the definition of the procession of the information. And finally, it is important to point out that even if this right does exist, it doesn't mean that any information you want can be erased out of Google. The conditions need to be fulfilled by the applicant in order to remove the link. The data to be removed needs to be inadequate, irrelevant, or excessive to the purpose of processing. And it is Google itself who has to decide whether this information deserves to be removed or not. And what about impartiality and effectiveness of such procedure? In conclusion, I will say that even if the first steps to the protection of information are made, there's a still long way to go, and that the responsibility on the published content lies on us. The good rule to always keep in mind is that you should not post anything that you would not like to be seen by your mother, any member of your family, or your boss. Recently, the Google Advisory Council has published its viewings on the right to be forgotten, where it proposed some interesting alternative solutions for this right. You can find the link to this document in the description below. Thank you for watching this video. Let me know if you like it and write down your comments. Thank you.